Welcome back to the Mulberry Book Drop. Hey, Bethany.
Hi, Sarah.
Happy July.
Thank you.
I can't believe we're in July.
My favorite month.
I was like, why? And then I said, oh, just kidding.
Well, really, because it's like super duper pool season.
I was going to say, AKA super duper hot.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So every free moment I have, pool.
She's living in it, breathing it. It does look really pretty. Gotta say.
We did eat lunch out there
mm-hmm.
because if you guys remember, we do record at my house sometimes. And so we got to eat our lunch here in between some recordings. And Sarah was so funny because she's like, I have to use the other seat so I can look at the pool.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so soothing.
It is. It's so pretty, so blue, looks real dippable. But I think my boss would notice if I come in soaking wet back to work.
Probably.
You know what I mean? Minor details. So it is what it is. All right. So what do you want to talk about today?
Well, okay. So I don't know if you remember, but like a couple weeks ago, we were doing the transits together.
Mm-hmm.
And so the transits come 5 days a week and we open the bags and you got to scan stuff in. Half of them are things that we have to reshelve. Half of them are usually holds for our patrons. And so I scanned one and I was like, oh, I have one for you. And I set it on the counter between where we were both standing. And it felt like 2 seconds later and you had scanned something and you were like, oh, I have one for you. And then we just kind of like.
And that's on utilizing your library. I'm just kidding.
It was very entertaining. It was one of those
mm-hmm.
like just kind of back and forth. And then it was like we both had this like pile. So I don't know what that says about us. But
yesterday I got 2 books in. Today I got 2 books in. And I'm just kind of like, oh,
well,
I've got work to do.
I don't know if you saw my pile that's waiting for me to check it out, but you and I have the same books in our piles.
How exciting.
So we will be reading the same books.
Ooh.
Yeah. But then it also got me thinking about those memes that we kept joking. Like, okay, people have been putting together these funny videos
mm-hmm.
where it's like, how many people does it take to do a job?
Mm-hmm.
And you guys, it was so embarrassing. I accidentally did that to Sarah.
She sure did.
I don't know why. And so now it's become a running joke because I went and made something so awkward that now every chance we have, we make things awkward.
Yes.
So do you want to tell them what happened? Or
yeah.
Okay.
So we were putting the transits into the transit bags to be sent back to their library. And I don't know if I was holding the bag or what was going on, but then I think you grabbed like the other side of the bag or something. And so then it made this, like, she was trying to be so helpful because y'all, that's one thing about Bethany is like, she wants to help. And so she's like, well, I'll just help. But like, it turned it into such an awkward exchange of like trying to put the book in the bag, but I would think I was holding one side, she was holding the other side. And so it's like, I couldn't get the bag in the bag. I couldn't get the book in the bag. And then like to zip it. And we just kind of looked at each other and we were like, what are we doing?
I don't know. It was like, I thought, oh, she's got like these 2 random books, 2 random libraries. If I hold the bag, and somehow, like you said, it made it really awkward. And we were both mm-hmm. doing like the same thing at the same time. Yeah. And it didn't work out. So fast forward a couple weeks later, and I went to explain something to Sarah because she was like, well, where is it? You know, when somebody like is looking at the computer and you're like, click whatever button and you don't see it right away. And so I was like, oh, and I said, here. And I went to go just like reach for the mouse. Like, so Sarah wouldn't have to move. She's still in front of the computer. I can just move the mouse, click the thing. But Sarah didn't move her hand off the mouse. So then I had my hand. I don't know. I'm getting to the point where
it was so romantic.
We've just worked together for too long, maybe.
Yeah.
But like, that's not a bad thing.
No.
I'm glad we can laugh about it. It does make my days like really fun. And
her hand was cold.
I'm always cold.
Yeah, her hand was cold. And then she put her hand on my hand. And then I asked what we are. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
So if any of you have ever had moments like awkward coworker moments, I personally would love to hear about it because apparently I naturally make things really awkward, but like I like to think of it as breaking the ice.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, sometimes you gotta...
At least it's with me.
Yeah, you gotta take it down a notch. It shouldn't always be so stressful. We spend like 40 plus hours a week together sometimes.
Yep.
Like, we need to make it fun.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get down to what we're going to talk about today. And that is authors that you keep coming back to. I feel like that'd be fun. I feel like we both have authors that we love all their stuff, and when they come out with stuff, we got to read it. You know what I mean? So I want you to think of some. You got it?
I have my list. I will tell you, I don't know if you remember my reaction when you first brought up this idea. I think it was lukewarm because I was nervous. For some reason, I thought to myself, what if I can't come up with a really good one?
Yeah.
And then I started looking at my stuff and I was like, what am I worried about? Now I'm excited.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get the ball rolling. Would you like to start?
Sure. Okay. The first one I have is Jodi Picoult. And I know I've mentioned her on here before, but I think she is probably like my first adult author. Like, so, you know, in my early 20s that I had that moment of reading a book and then having to read everything by that author. And even now, I still find myself like, ooh, she's got a new book coming out, and immediately putting myself on the hold list. So I call it my gateway novel, was My Sister's Keeper.
Okay.
I absolutely loved it. I cried. I thought it was so good. But her books are always, when I describe them to people, I call them hot button fiction, because she always picks like a hot topic and she explores it from all sides.
Okay.
So the way she tells her stories is usually just this crazy interweaving of all of the gray areas of whatever that hot button topic is, and whether or not I agree with all of the characters' choices, sometimes maybe not even the outcome of the story itself. I love that she makes me think.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that she makes me like look, explore, and consider. So I think she does a really great job.
I think that's great. Anyone that can, like, in a healthy way, make you look at things differently, I think is really good.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's your first one?
Ooh, my first one. I know this is going to be a real shocker. Heather Morris. So if you guys remember, she wrote like The Tattooist of Auschwitz, Cilka's Journey, Three Sisters, and Sisters Under the Rising Sun. I've read all of them, loved all of them, devoured all of them. She is by far my favorite historical fiction author, but she is actually writing a contemporary fiction book.
I didn't know the new one was going to be contemporary.
I was like, oh, I love her historical fiction, so of course I'll give it a shot. And like when an author kind of like switches it up a little bit, I definitely like to show them grace if it's like the first time writing one of those books or putting it out. Just because I'm like, okay, it's different. It's different for them. So I have to kind of go into it maybe not thinking like, oh, it's Heather Morris, it's going to be this great thing. But I absolutely love her books. I think you're the one that actually got me started on her after you read the Tattooist of Auschwitz one. And I swear everyone that I read, I love more than the last one. And how is that possible?
It's interesting how you described the change from historical fiction to contemporary, because that makes me think of Kristin Hannah, how hers, a lot of hers, people fell in love with her because of her contemporary, but then they got sucked into her historical fiction. And I feel like she keeps going more and more the historical fiction route, and she's doing a great job. So sometimes that change can be a good thing. Yeah.
Well, and that's Rebecca Yarros is doing that too, between fantasy and historical. Yeah. Or contemporary. She kind of does all of it. Yeah. And I'm like, wow. So I definitely think that authors already in my brain are superheroes, because to be creative enough to come up with an idea and to put it on paper and put it out, but to be able to do that in different genres. So I'm really excited, but yeah, I always go back to her stuff.
Let me know how that one is. I'm very curious.
For sure, for sure. All right, who's your second?
So my next one is a newer to me author. I just started reading them over the last couple years, but it's Grady Hendrix.
Yes.
Yes. So I kind of listed this as a horror author I can get behind. I struggle with horror. I know that's weird, because a couple episodes ago we talked a lot about like some true crime books and things, and I read all over the place, but sometimes horror authors can go a little too far for me. But he seems to do it with like a little bit of humor. Yeah. A little bit more with the real life circumstances, and then the actual like horror elements. Sometimes they're just a little bit smaller, or maybe there's just like one or two like bigger scenes where the rest of the story isn't necessarily focused on that moment. And so I get a chance to really like watch the characters grow and like enjoy the story as a whole.
Mm.
So I don't like to be like skeeved out, you know, like,
Yeah.
I don't know
Like,
how else to explain it.
Don't like purposely try to gross me out all the time.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
And I definitely, he is somebody too where I could take all of his books and I could list them from like my most favorite to my least favorite. So if you do want to come in and ask me, like I would happily share with you like what my, you know, top 3 are or whatever. But he's also one of those authors where it's like, even when I do read the occasional one where I'm kind of like, meh, I'm still, as soon as I know there's another one coming back, I'm on that hold list. I want it. I want to know where he's going this time.
Yeah, I've read a couple of his and I thoroughly enjoyed them as well.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, he's fun. He's fun. Who's your next one?
Okay, I know this is going to be a real shocker. Elsie Silver, Cowboy Romances. You know me, I love my cowboy romances. So she has a few different series out, and I didn't realize it, I think, until I was halfway through one series, but all of her stuff is based in Canada. I said, oh, okay. I said, that makes sense on why I've never heard of these places. It's because they're in Canada. But comfort, I get attached to the family. And when I say great character growth, a lot of times in romances, like the characters don't necessarily always have growth. But like all of her characters have real life issues. And by the end of the book, they're healing from it. Maybe not completely healed, but like working on it. And I just really appreciate that because I get it. Romance, we are, you know, we're in this like, oh, real romance isn't like this. And this is all just for the books. But it's like, but I appreciate when authors are like, nah, we're going to throw this in there. It's going to be great. We're going to love it. And I do. So I've really, she's actually a very recent author for me. I just started reading her this year. And I just absolutely love her stuff.
I can't remember which podcast it was, so I apologize for not having all of the information. But somebody I was listening to maybe like last week, they were actually talking about that author.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
They were doing like a breakdown of some different romance authors and like how romance has changed from the Fabio covers to like these new, and they were talking specifically about like the cowboy romances or what's the new one? Hockey romance apparently is like the next big wave that they're starting to see, I guess. I don't know. People in the book world, they know these things, right? Yeah. It's like fashion.
Right. That's funny. That is fashion.
Yeah.
Yep, it sure is. All right, what's your third one?
So I wanted to, it was nonfiction, just for something a little different, because I've talked before about how much I love nonfiction, and I had to go back to Mary Roach. I love Mary Roach, and Mary Roach is literally the reason that I learned nonfiction does not have to suck. And it was quite a while ago when I read that first one. I talked about it on here, Stiff, The Curious Lives of Cadavers. And after that episode, I had a couple people come in and they were like, I listened to the podcast. I think I want to read the book. And I was like, okay, but like, don't judge me and make sure you read the footnotes.
That's funny.
And I'll tell you, they came back and they really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And then we also had done her Packing for Mars book for my one book club. And it was such a fun discussion. And everybody who read the physical copy that was able to read the footnotes, like they understood what I was talking about. So her footnotes, they really do help kind of tie the story together. They bring some humor and some real life into it. And they just make it more fun to learn, right? Yeah. And I will say, I think that's something you don't get in the audiobook necessarily. So I would say if you are going to try Mary Roach, this is a situation where I would maybe urge you to read the physical copy or a Kindle or whatever, versus an audiobook.
Oh, okay.
Just to get the full experience.
No, I totally get that.
Yeah.
That one's kind of always been on my back of my noggin. And maybe I should approach it.
I do love her. I think you would be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah. And her nonfiction is all over the place. So you would like absolutely have a choice of like what you wanted to learn.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, my next one is Becky Wade. Now, I was trying to think of like when I started reading her stuff. It was probably around this time that you actually started working at the library. But she is a good Christian romance author. I still find myself going back to her stories. I've read her Porter family series, which, fun fact, I think that family are cowboys. But
Oh, how
like,
funny.
so like now, like my niche right now is cowboy romances. But I was like, your girl been reading it, just didn't realize it. So like that one, and then the Bradford Sister series. Again, I really get attached when there's series and there's families because you feel like you become a part of the family. And so that's how I feel with this author. And I think she does it really well. She has more series. I'm just such a waiting for waiting to read till like series are done kind of person. So there's a couple that I'll probably be going to soon.
That's cool.
So good
That
comfort.
was, yeah, that was one of the ones that surprised me because
Yeah.
I don't remember you
Mm-hmm.
reading this author, but
Yeah.
also like we weren't talking about books together yet at
Right.
that point.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of surprised to see that name pop up.
Yeah. I just reread the Bradford Sister series last year or 2 years ago.
Okay.
So on my Kindle. So, but yep, good, really good comfort read. Thoroughly enjoy.
That's
Thoroughly
cool.
enjoy her. All right, we have one more author.
And I think we're sharing
We
this
are,
author.
because sharing is caring.
Yes. Taylor Jenkins Reid.
Love her.
I mean, the last name, while it is spelled differently, is Reid. So, haha, but
But I appreciate that joke.
Thank you. Do you have a favorite?
Oh yeah,
Which one's your favorite?
Malibu Rising.
Oh.
Which one's your favorite?
It's so hard to choose, but I do actually think I would go back to Malibu Rising.
Yeah.
That was sort of like my intro, and I just...
It was not my first one.
Yeah.
My first one was The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
Okay.
Yep.
I think I would have to look back at my list. Daisy Jones and the Six might have been my intro.
Okay.
But then when I read Malibu Rising and the one character was slipped in there, and all of a sudden I realized that there was this weird net that was going to connect some of her stories. Like, yeah. I was sold.
I will say almost all of her books I've actually listened to as audiobooks.
Okay.
The only one that I didn't was Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So I thoroughly enjoy her books as audio.
Interesting.
Because they usually have like a whole like cast.
Yeah. Daisy's the only one that I did as an audio.
So good.
Because I had physically read it originally, but then I listened to it before I watched the show.
Yeah.
Because I wanted a little refresher, so that way, you know, if anyone asked me, is that different from the book? Like, I would remember,
right,
you know, what was going on. Yeah. And I think what I really appreciate, Taylor Jenkins Reid kind of reminds me of like what we were just talking about a second ago, where her books, like there's the chunk of books that have that one common character where you can almost thread together a timeline. But then you have the other chunk of books that are these like contemporary romances that are just these interesting situations that really make you stop and think. And you're like, well, what would I do? And I've loved all of them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is about the way that she tells a story or the writing itself. I'm not sure, but she just has this way of sucking me in. And I was telling Sarah the other day, the one that every time it gets returned and I see it on the shelf, it makes me chuckle because it's the Carrie Soto is back.
Oh, yep.
And you were like, I don't know if I want to read it. I don't really know that I care about tennis.
Right.
And it made me laugh. And I'm like, but the book is about so much more than tennis.
I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah. And I remember when you finished it and you were like, that was not about tennis.
Yeah. And you know, I've only actually read her book where the characters appear in other stories. So I really need to look at her backlog and read some of her other books that I haven't read. So, man, my want to read list is getting really long.
They were, yeah. I don't know. I will definitely always be on the list, any hold list for Taylor Jenkins Reid. So whenever you're writing stuff, I'm always, there's certain names that I search.
I'm
every
currently
couple weeks
on a hold list for one of her books.
Yep.
So
I love it. This was fun. I really enjoyed this more than I thought.
I know. And I know it's kind of a quicker episode, but, you know, we're in the middle of summer and we just have a little bit of our summer reading program left. And so we were like, you know what? Let's talk about authors that we just love and that we keep coming back to. And so if you have any authors, we would love to hear. Absolutely would love to hear. But I have one more question for you.
Of course.
What are you currently reading?
I am currently reading a book called The Housekeeper and the Professor. It's by Yoko Ogawa, and it is a translation, but it's reading like very easily. I think they did a great job with it. But the professor in the story, he's like a math professor, and he had been in a car accident, so his short-term memory only lasts for 80 minutes.
Okay.
So like he has little slips of paper clipped to his suit, like so every day when he gets dressed he can read the papers and it reminds him like, oh, your memory only lasts for 80 minutes. This is the name of your housekeeper, they come at such and such time. But the housekeeper, when she starts working there, they have this like moment where they're connected by these two numbers, right? So he asks her a question, she answers with a number, and then he shows her this number, and then he does this whole math formula to explain to her why these numbers go together.
Interesting.
And from that moment, that's their connection. And then when he finds out that she has a son, he wants the son to start coming over after school. And my favorite part of the story so far was that the son has a flat head. And so the professor has nicknamed him Root, as in like the square root symbol.
That's cute.
It really is. It's oddly comforting. From what I'm gathering right now, it's very much a book about like found family and stuff like that. Obviously, you're dealing with a hard situation, but the writing is really sweet. It's literally exactly what I need right now. So I'm just kind of enjoying it. I don't have too much left. It is a smaller book, so I should be done probably today, but I like it. What are you reading?
I'm actually reading Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez.
That's that girl.
I know, contemporary romance.
Another author we keep going back to.
I know. Oh my goodness, this list could have been so much longer, but you know, we have to work. But it's about apparently a vet that is like a Greek god. So we're gonna see how it goes.
As vets always are in romance novels.
Always. Because what else would they be? All right. Well, if you have authors that you keep coming back to that you want to share with us, or if you agree with any of ours, we'd love to hear your thoughts. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, or email us at themulberrylibrary@gmail.com. And with that,
happy reading, Mulberry.